What, we're breaking up?
Yeah. Well, see how she goes. What's happening, guys? Dan here, DD Speed Shop. Before we get into the video, I just want to say the surgery was successful. I'm okay. Derek's okay. My head was successfully removed from his butt. We're all good. Now, we're going to be back working on this 56 Chevy. Oh, one thing. For the keen viewer, in between the last two clips of the video, this door had a small door ding in it. I went outside to get a pail of transmission oil, and the car might have rolled a little bit. The garage is a little slanty, when you leave them in neutral. That's the way she goes. So today, we have ourselves, I'm going to say running and driving car. Barely. But it does run and drive. We can take it around the block if we wanted to. It has 0 rear brakes, like not one piece of the rear brakes. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to jam that together. I have to cobble together a emergency brake cable, which shouldn't be too difficult. We have to go from like a 10-bolt Camaro rear end to the factory Tri-5 stuff. I ordered a new cable, so hopefully it'll work out. Be the right length and everything. We'll figure it, and then, yeah, jam that together. Drive shaft's good. Transmission's decent. We don't have a cooler, so I do got to put a cooler on this thing. We got to get the fans wired up. We got to just do little housekeeping things like that. Tidy up all the wiring, interior work. There's a lot of stuff to do in this, so I don't know what way we're going to go, but every day we can get closer to it being a reliable driver, I'm going to take it as a win. So, next time you see this thing, be up in the air. So, I skipped ahead, but it's a better part of an hour in the future to do one side of the brakes. So, it's not going great. Now, I had to order every single part for this brake setup because it was so rotten. I've never seen anything that rotten. Like, I pulled the drum off and it just fell apart. So I had to get, obviously wheel cylinders and shoes. I got a spring kit, then I had to get a star wheel kit. Like, the only thing that's original for this is the spreader bar for the emergency brake or park brake. That's all we're reusing. Everything else is brand frickin' new. Now, the problem was when I Googled pictures, it was different than this setup was when I took it off. I took one picture and it had the star wheel adjuster and the e-brake on the same side and nothing on the front side. And when I Googled pictures, it had the star wheel on that side. But this should all work out, should be fine. I ordered all the parts for a 67 or 8 Camaro and I rebuilt it the way it is. And actually the star wheels have a little L and an R on them. So we use the L one. So it has to be right. This is the only way it goes. If you put it the other way, nothing would line up. We have, this is a factory Tri-5 e-brake setup. Now the, damn it. This is the Camaro. So the Camaro essentially worked the same way. This would go onto in there. And it had, it would stop there, then it had an intermediate cable. Whereas Tri-5s are different. They have a cable from the front that goes to the center, and they hook into a bar, which does all the pulling. So the intermediate cable and e-brake cable is all together. So essentially, this piece is all the same. It just goes and makes a big loop, which is a bit of a hassle because if you have to go like above the exhaust or under the exhaust and around the drive shaft, you have to do it all now. Because when one side's hooked up, you can loop it. But once both sides are hooked up, you either have to take the brakes apart and get one side out, or start changing what you have on the car. So you got to make sure you know what you're doing. But it does work. We'll just go ahead and kind of give a temporary pull, but you can see that'll be good. Everything there should work. The cable should be the right length. I can't, the only thing that would be different is that the rear end is somehow different, but it all looks good to me. I'm happy with it. So we'll scoop that around. Maybe the other side will do a bit more step by step, but it's wire wheeling and cleaning and screwing around and make bolts for the wheel cylinders because they're all rotten. Like, it's just, this is a rebuilt rear end. It's gonna have every single piece is brand new. The center section's brand new. It doesn't have brand new axles, but these aren't the same axles. They're different. They're good used axles with new bearings, and we have brand new drums in the back seat. So we kept the the housing and the backing plate. So I think I said before, $1,000 well spent. But should last forever, or at least as long as I'm gonna have the car. So I'll get set up on the other side and we'll start giving her. Okay, here we go. We got the last bar light blinking at us, so we get this section done pretty quick. So we have the e-brake cable basically where we're gonna want it. I have the wheel cylinder removed. As you can see, a broken bolt, but this thing is finito. Now the nice thing about these is they're the same side to side. Sometimes you gotta watch where the bleeder is or where the inlet is, but these are identical. I made a couple of new bolts for it. Now we're just gonna wire wheel the backing plate, especially where the shoes are gonna ride. Then I will put in the wheel cylinder and then we'll get back to it. So I'll be fast motion. Hopefully faster in this light. And a dead battery. My life of dead batteries. There we go. Now we have our brake shoes. I can do this one-handed, but the tops start the same, and one is longer. Bob, big on back. So that's where that one's going to go. Now, in this case, I believe all of the stuff is going to go on this one shoe. So maybe we'll assemble it. It's a little complicated, but I'll kind of piece it together, and then we'll maybe put it on the car. And I'll just slip in the e-brake real quick. So we're going to have to get that taken care of right away. Okay, so I'll show you real quick. We have the e-brake in. Be aware of the e-brake. I'm going to say it 15 more times, but you have to know, do you go on top of the leaf spring or underneath? In this situation, it is on top. There actually is a little rubber they'll show there, so it can't wear. I broke all the tangs off, but this would be coming in to the backing plate. There's little tangs that come out. They're kind of a one-way, so once they pop in, they're a pain to get back out. So be aware of that. Now, obviously, e-brake cables seize all the time. Oh, actually, that one wasn't seized. What are the odds? That's embarrassing. But we put a new one on anyways. Now, when it comes to the rear brake shoe, there's a couple things we have to do. This is your e-brake lever. So what's going to happen is the bottom cable will hook into there, and it will pull. It'll have a little pivot on the back. And we're going to put a bar across, a spreader bar. And what's going to happen is essentially, this is old school mechanical brakes. As you pull in the lever, it's going to push that bar across, which is going to do the exact same thing as right above it is where the wheel cylinder is going to be. Very simple. This I had to assemble on the bench. This is a few different pieces. Actually, it says R right on it, so we know it's the right side. This is your adjuster for the star wheel. So it will fit in like that. I had to just pull this. I put this in the bench vise and pull the spring across. So this little piece, it all kind of fits together. I don't know why it's not just one, but that's what they wanted to do when they sent it. And then this last little hole right there is where the pin will go through and hold this on. So very simple. And then there'll be a spring actually from the top here. And this is what can adjust your star wheel. And I believe that it just works in reverse. When you back the car up, it'll obviously pull the brakes a different way. Maybe you allow a little bit of tension off there, and it can adjust the brakes. Self-adjusting. Tri-5 stuff, not that way. Same thing. This is our adjuster. It will fit on like that, and this just fits in. So we'll get that all kind of taken care of. The front shoe doesn't really have anything on it whatsoever. All we have to do over here is we have to clean up the spreader bar. This has a big and a little side. It'll be very obvious when you're working on it. Obviously, it's curved to go away from everything, and it's wide on this side because it has to go around the shoe and the lever, and this side just has to fit on the shoe. So there we go. We'll get these things wire wheeled up, and we'll start slapping her together. So there is the brakes. Now, basically everything went on just the way I said. There's not one thing on the front shoe other than just this little spring holding it in. To the astute viewer, you'll notice I missed the mustache man on the other side. I forgot about that, so we'll have to go back and change it. This is all, I mean, it's all behind the axle, so it's kind of hard to see, or the mount, the flange there, but it's all together. Basically what holds it on is the one little spring, and then it's got, you know, a little spring here, does its thing, and I put on this one big little hook. So now what we're going to do is, I believe that hole there and that hole there, this one goes to this, and this one is the long one. Everything is color coded, so if you take it all apart into decent shape, you can kind of know, but that's that one. So we'll go ahead and do something like, what the, come on. That can't be right. What am I doing wrong here? I can only, well, we'll try with this spring. How about that? Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. This might be a little bit of a trick. Spring on spring action. Oh, stupid spring thing. There we go. Come on. I hate springs. Okay, we got that on. Now, why can I not figure this out? This is more just embarrassing than anything. I mean, again, I guess it's not any sort of tutorial. Please don't use this as a tutorial. Okay, that's just the way she's going to be. Ba-bam. Okay, I think that should be that. Now next, I'll show you on the diff, actually. Second location. So what we have to do now is this. I think this is actually Nova stuff, so I use, but, and here's why. A typical Tri-5 had a single pot master cylinder with 4-wheel drum brakes. So what it would have done is with a single pot with a small line going out, driver's side wheel, over the passenger side, and then back to the rear end with tiny line. This we ran 1/4-inch line to the back, went through a proportioning valve with a dual pot master. So this is actually 1/4 inch with the fitting on it, and it then goes into the standard junk to the wheel cylinder. So I'm going to take this off, take all the lines off. Yeah, I cut them all anyways, and we'll have to reflare some stuff. I should have fittings, otherwise it would probably, I should have line too. I'll have to do some checking for parts. Well, it is so far in the future that it's tomorrow. We got a hell of a mess to clean up, but brakes are done. We got the drums on. They came like pre-coated black. That's pretty sweet. See how long that lasts. We had the jerry can out because I had drained the fuel tank in the attempts of fixing this leak, which I think I did. All I did was I ran the plug out, Teflon coated it, or Teflon taped it, and zung it back in. It had a bunch of Teflon tape on it, but I guess going in and out a few times it pushed it all down to the bottom, so it actually wouldn't thread all the way in, for one, and there was no Teflon tape, so who'd have thought? Now, I ran brand new brake line. I gotta just put them in their little clips. We got that all taken care of. We got our little flex line in there. Everything's good. I gotta get some nuts for these shocks. I thought they were like 7/16 fine, but they are not. And half is too big, so they're metric, I guess, of some sort. I guess that's what happens when you buy a universal shock kit thing. It's probably meant for new stuff or built in China where everything's metric, but so be it. We double checked all of our U-bolts. We tightened and Loctited the rear shackle, and the fronts were lock nut and they're tight as well. What else we got going on? We got the e-brake connected. I'll show, but it goes all the way around. So I'm happy with that. All factory stuff. Nothing touches anything. It just kisses the exhaust as it goes under, but you know what? That's fine. Now, the only other thing we have to worry about, these Tri-5s are always a pain. If you'll notice, the frames are quite close together, like they're narrow. On, you know, Chevelles and muscle cars, they're right under the rockers. That is not the case on Tri-5. So you run out of a lot of room. So on this side, we have our fuel lines, return, feed and return, as well as that red wire is power wire. And then we have the e-brake as well as the brake line on that one side. So everything is mounted with the insulated P-clips and whatnot, and it's probably okay. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and zip tie the hell out of it, just for added peace of mind. That's just my own thing. It's probably going to be okay. But a fuel line rubbing or a brake line rubbing or a power wire rubbing, all things you don't really want. So we'll get that taken care of. Give everything a double check. I think we're done back here. I did order a trailer hitch, so that'll be cool to put on. That's not here today though. So once we do that, then we gotta bleed the brakes, but light change. Oh man, that's bright. Danielle is playing video games right now, so we gotta wait for her to finish playing video games. In the meantime, we'll get this all dialed, then we can go work on the front. We gotta tie up transmission lines, tidy up some wiring, a few things like that, but realistically, should be able to drive. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Get everything done tonight. Tomorrow after work, when it's still daylight out, go for a little drive. Do I look good here? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'll see you topside. It's past our bedtime. It's like 11. But Danny's out here. We're gonna bleed the brakes real quick. That way it's done.
What? We're breaking up?
Yeah. Well, see how she goes. I did my wire. Stupid. Your new lights, the batteries don't last for shit. So just so you know.
They're brand new. They're the same ones you had.
Maybe they're just intensity. Anyways, we have all this kind of cleaned up somewhat there. So we have 4 fuse blocks.
Are they even fully charged? Did you plug them in before you used them?
Oh yeah. 4 fuse blocks. So we got, it threw me off. We got the main block for the car, fan, fuel pump, and the extreme fun headlights. So that's all dialed. All I gotta do now is I have it all run under the dash. I gotta hook up the Holly to trigger the fans because we're gonna use that versus a switch, and we have to run a switch for the KC lights. But I'll get set up real quick. I'll grab a wrench. We'll be able to bleed the brakes. Unfortunately, this Master has a really small rear.
Didn't I just do this on this car?
Nomad.
Ugh.
Get your Tri-5 Chevy Wagon straight.
Too many Tri-5s here.
No such thing as too many Tri-5s. So let's get this set up real quick, and you guys get to watch the argument. Where's the tripod? Test. Okay, ready?
Do you want me to scratch just this whole...
What, here?
Yeah.
Like that?
You really did it.
Don't do it, girl.
Girl, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Okay. Hang on. Oh, God. Did I bring the right tool? Okay. This is some pretty good entertainment. You gotta please the crowd while we're getting set up.
What do you mean, please the crowd?
Well, the tens of people who are watching this are pretty important.
Are you guys following me on Twitch yet?
Oh my god.
You said to please the crowd. My Twitch is a crowd pleaser.
Okay, step on the brakes, please. All the way down. All the way up. All the way down. Huh. Okay, keep going. Zoot.
Zootalor?
Yeah, I think we gotta bleed the Master. Somebody ran the brakes completely dry.
That wasn't me.
What's that?
That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't me.
My Twitch mostly consists of making fun of Dan, so it's a pretty good time. You're your own worst enemy. You can't be mad at yourself.
Yeah,
well, you can be, but... Anyways, it's Queen Glitter Chaos on Twitch. It's a good time.
Step down on the pedal?
Hard or just normal?
Doesn't matter. Tiny wrench. Which I don't have. Let's see if it'll...
It's really tough to work with an unprofessional.
Oh, amateur hour.
this guy has 100K?
Oh, people will watch anything. Alright, step on it. Then a few times. Son of a... Keep going. Why is everything such an hassle?
Because DD's speed shop.
Yes, DD's speed shop.
Should I let go?
Yeah.
Wait, is the brake the one in the middle?
The brake in the middle, what?
I might have been pushing the gas.
Well, what are you pressing?
I might have been pushing the gas.
Which one?
I'm just kidding. I was pushing the brake. 100%. 100% was pushing the brake. It seemed like it'd be a funny joke. Maybe it's not the time.
Joke's on Dan. So what happened was the fluid, because I had the back brakes cut, we had the rear end all around. I guess it must have lost all its fluid. I must have drove it without fluid or something. So we had to bleed the master. Oh, I shouldn't need this. Hopefully we have fluid here. If not, we'll let it gravity bleed. Okay, step on it. And up. What the heck's going on? Do it again. Do it like just keep pumping. Okay.
Should I go?
Just go up and press down one more time. Okay. Hold it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got fluid now. Wow, that was.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, dear. Confident. Why do you keep opening this door?
You do. I don't want to be locked in here. What if it catches on fire and I have to get out?
The battery's not even hooked up.
It still catches on fire.
I fixed the gas leak.
Nah.
I think, anyways.
My insurance payout is not as good as yours.
But if we both go, it's irrelevant.
Well, fair enough.
So now, put your foot off the brake. Oh, I guess it's in park. Can you put the car in neutral? So we can spin it. Okay, step on the brake. And I can't. Brake job done. We're still together. Now what's for dinner? See you tomorrow. Next day, man, didn't we just have the other end of this car on the ground? Anyway, so we flipped it, rear ends together. I had to weld on some shock mounts, but she's pretty much dialed back there, I think. I am missing a little screw for the fuel sender. I got to put one in there. And I changed rear tires to a smaller one so they fit a little better, but I dislike how it looks. So we'll see. We got to get some different offset rims, but it's fine for now. Before the wheels or the tires were rubbing against the leaf springs very close, and well, sidewalls and leaf springs, they don't go well together. Anyway, today I got a few different fittings. So this is like a compression fitting into a 6AN. So we're going to put a couple of those on the transmission lines. It has the metal lines that go up to the front, which is fine. But I have a bunch of this push lock stuff left over for, which is like hydraulic line for like fuel line stuff. It's all NHRA and all that stuff. Certified, so we're good, and it's very flexible. So I can cut the line off the transmission, because as you guys know, where it comes off the transmission, it's very tight in the tunnel on almost all these things on the 700. Go down, maybe keep it metal around the starter. I'm thinking cut it, go 6AN, and then go forward, and then go around the motor mount, up over the cross member, and you know, through a little hole in the little belly pan, and then I can mount this something like that, and then we should be easy. And realistically at that point I think we're done. We got the wiring all taken care of. I have the fan hooked up to the Holly. This thing's like coming together, so I'd like to do that, I just got home from work. It's 4 o'clock. Sunset is at 5 o'clock. I would like to back this thing out and take it for a ride around the block. We have no charging system, so I'm going to toss the battery charger on it. But I kind of feel like after today, it's going to be like nickel and dime items, which is fun. That's no more big stuff. Until I decide, you know what, I don't really like this LS in here. Let's put something else in, eh? This thing's had a lot of motors in it. So I'll get that line done real quickly, and then we're off to the races. So we're on the ground. We got the battery charger on the thing just real quick because the alternator still isn't hooked up, but it's daylight is fading, and I'm behind the video, so I gotta edit this one, put it out. But cooler's on, that's all dialed together. I just kind of zip tied it in. I think we should be all taken care of. I do have the fan hooked up to the computer, but I haven't set up the on-off temp. But it's probably like 195 default, so I'm sure that's fine. Again, I literally just want to go up around the block and back home. Probably won't even get hot enough to do that. And just test this thing out, see if there's any clanks, and really make sure the transmission kind of shifts some gears. This thing hasn't had, this transmission we had in this car, I think I went around the block twice with the big block in it, and that was it. So we got to do that. Just make sure it kind of kicks down, does all those things. I'm sure there'll be, like I said, lots of fiddling with this, and then we can park it outside and I can clean up the garage a little bit because Danielle has made a hell of a mess in here, as per usual. She didn't get the joke. Give 5 minutes on the charger and then we'll go for a ride. And worst case, we're dressed warm so we can push it back, right? Remember, if you were here, you're the guy we usually call when this thing breaks down. So, yet again, your vacation is hassling me. All right, well, it's outside idling. Hopefully it should be good. It smells a little burny. I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're just cruising down the back lane. Something like it fell off. Oh, maybe it's chill. Alright. The throttle pedal's a little stiff, needs some oil or something. It's chonky. It shifted to second gear. Got a bit of a kind of stumble, but I think the problem is the battery's been on and off a bunch of times. It has to kind of self-learn. All the rattles are in the back. Oh, this, and I remember this on the way to Mike's was super annoying. Take all those things out.
Or put a headliner in.
This is Danny's beach shop. I'm not doing any of that.
A girl can dream.
We'll see if we have enough time. Maybe we'll drop buckets.
You want me to do a Queen Bee special?
Just glue it on there?
Yeah. You give me some fabric and Gorilla Glue and I can work runders.
Runders?
Runders.
Yeah, so she shifted. Man, it's definitely a little swirly in the snow. This thing actually does drive nice. We drove it up to Mike's. I really enjoyed it. It's got a big hole in the firewall, which is letting a little chilly air in. Love to get on that.
I probably want to leave the hole so we can have some cool air during power tour.
I think the problem is it'll be hot air from the motor.
Oh, right.
Right. So I wonder if this parking lot's plowed.
Nope.
We could have made her. Gotta find a place to do a little U-turn. Like it shifted down there, so the transmission's doing something. I hate the initial start of the car, and it has that burning smell, and you're like, is that just new parts and all the paint? Oh yeah, I came prepared. The battery terminals are barely hung on. That lady looked at us like we're psychopaths. She's driving a Trax X.
She's ready for the winter.
Trax. I hate the steering wheel. I forget this. I want to get
tiny.
Yeah, I want to get a gold, like a gold leaf one. They have a green one, but it's out of stock everywhere.
Oh.
That would kind of suit the car.
That would.
Also, there's no air filter or nothing on this thing. It probably affects the intakes. That was too bad. Dog running around there. This thing will be a nightmare to turn. summer with a little wheel. We never even did a light check or nothing, eh? Yeah, flat. Yeah, okay. At least let's lighten up the dash. Tires are spinny. Ah! You know
Don't hit the little old lady.
You know what we should have done is put the LS motor in to start with instead of that big block and then the small block. We would have already been done.
Well, that's not how we do motors. We take them in and take them out 18 times before we decide on one.
That's a man, just so you know.
Oh, well, I thought it was maybe the little old lady. I couldn't see from that car.
Buddy did tell me not to bag on the rear end, so we're just gonna do a little bit of bagging. I think he just said don't bag on it and expect me to warranty it, is what he meant to say. So as long as we're fine with paying our damages.
It's all up to the interpretation of the interpreter.
I don't think first gear is working on this, because third gear is drive, so I think we gotta do some adjustment in the cable somehow. Smoking a little bit there. It's probably fine. No problemo. It is rush hour. We should have probably thought that one out. Stupid being dark at 5 o'clock. It's unbelievable. It's 4:30 or 4 to 5 right now. We're just like kind of rushed it a little bit. It definitely smells like something's burning. Really though.
Definitely looks like someone's running here too.
Oh yeah, it looks and smells like we're on fire. Other than that, so like the mufflers and all that. The mufflers.
Other than the half of the Healy in the back here.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine though. The 57 was loud on Power Tour, like bah for hours and hours. I gotta say, it did kind of get to me a little bit.
See, I don't even remember it being loud. I like that just white noise.
It's definitely. Man, that fucking throttle pedal is touchy. It's got some jam though. I think it's just stuff burning off the car.
If it's not smoking, are you really hot rodding?
That's hot rod. This one got a little jam there, I gotta say. Wow, I mean, I guess it'll be the exact same as that.
Jesus!
What'd you do back there? I can almost see out the back now. Someone really needs to unload some parts here. I guess we should just stack them up on the Healy, eh? Basically on Power Tour now. So, I think we're gonna go ahead and put this thing away for a little bit. I want to get back on. Actually, the Opel GT is coming up. I actually have a couple videos on that I got to put out yet, but I wanted this thing to be running and driving. Probably did that, so we got Opel GT coming up. There's actually a Nomad video ready to go. So I think we're going to get the Opel a little bit, push it outside, and then we'll have this in one garage, Nomad in the other, and slam on these until they're like kind of runner drivers for sure. So that's the plan at least. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the content, and if you didn't, feel free to let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, it costs nothing and makes a world of difference for us and our growth. I just talked to the accountant today. Tax time sucks. So, like the channel. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I'll do a couple of rents here real quick. This will be fun. Alright, see you later. Right, let's grab. See what's on fire. 56 Chevys. Oh, it's just the radiator. Didn't even kick the fan on. See you next time.